Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday Morning Yoga with Jim. We're going to start today in the reclined position, so make your way to your mat, laying flat on your back, and we'll get started. So coming flat on our backs, we'll bring the feet together, heels are together, knees are together, internally rotating the thighs closer towards each other. And then I want you to bring your knees up 6 to 8 inches, bring the feet in just a little bit. So we want the glutes engaged here. It's pressing the hips down, flattening out the lower back. And then as you start to breathe, you expand your rib cage, you expand the lungs onto the mat. Most of the tissue of the lungs is in the back. So as we inhale, we try to feel our whole back grip the mat. We're still internally rotating the thighs closer together, pressing the knees together. You'll feel that turn on the hamstrings. You might get a little bit fatigued in the legs here. That's perfectly fine. Every inhale, fill up the lungs. Every exhale, use your core muscles to squeeze the stale air out, bringing the belly button towards the spine. As you inhale, you expand. Exhale, get all that stale air out. Pressing the head into the mat, the chin is tucked down as you inflate everything up towards the chin. Three more breaths here. You can take your hang loose fingers, pinky to the top of the hips, thumb to that bottom rib, and then actively reaching the elbows out as you inhale and exhale. Last one, inhale, exhale. Stretch the feet out long, reach the arms up overhead. And then as we inhale, we'll reach, exhale, slowly do one big sit-up, coming all the way up. Exhaling all that air out. Sit onto your left hip, swing the legs around. We're coming into a tabletop position. Wrists beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips. We're going to do 5 cat-cows here, following the pace of your own breath. Inhale, head comes up, collarbones are exposed. Exhale, press the earth away, arching the spine. Inhale. And exhale. Take any organic movement your body might need here. Wiggling side to side, maybe rolling the wrists. You have 3 more breaths. Morning, Bruce. Coming into downward facing dog. Walk your hands out 6 to 8 inches in front of you. Curl your toes under, and we'll start to press the hips up and back, bringing the heels towards the ground. It's early, so we'll walk out our dog here, bending one knee at a time, getting into your calf and into your Achilles. Maybe bend both knees at the same time, sink your chest a little closer to the thighs. And then you work to press the heels towards the earth, straightening out the legs. Hips reaching up for the ceiling, maybe coming onto the toes. Eventually we find stillness in our downward dog. Take your feet out a little bit wider than normal, a little bit wider than shoulder distance. And we'll step our hands in maybe 2 or 3 inches. And then I want you to reach your right hand for your left ankle. You might reach the calf, the shin, or the ankle, or even the bottom of the heel. That's fine. We're just working on a twist here. So you're twisting the torso, bringing the gaze underneath that left armpit, reaching for that for the left ankle with the right hand. 2 more breaths here. Inhale, expand into your back. Exhale, squeeze your core. we'll release the ankle, bring the right hand back. And then on your exhale, reach for the left ankle, this time with the right hand. Spiraling the chest there, you're twisting underneath that right armpit. Release the left hand back. And then on your exhale, we'll walk up towards the front of our space, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands to shins, ears away from the shoulders. Exhale, forward fold. Big bend in the knees as we inhale and rise all the way up. Hands sweep up overhead. Exhale, swan dive down, nice and slow. Coming into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Hands frame the feet, step the feet back into a plank. From here, we're going to lower all the way down to the floor, keeping the elbows tucked in tight. When you land on the floor, untuck the toes, press the tops of the feet into the earth to lift the kneecaps off the floor. Quads are engaged, glutes are engaged, protecting our lower back as we prepare for 3 baby cobras. Inhale. Exhale, slowly lower back down. Inhaling up. Little to no weight in the hands. Gaze is 6 to 8 inches in front of the mat. Exhale, lower down. Last one, inhaling up. Exhale, slowly lower down. Preparing for plank. Curl your toes under. Get some daylight under your hips. And then press yourself up into a plank position. From here, we'll move all the way back, downward facing dog. On your next exhale, walk up to the front of your space, coming into that forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Big bend in the knees. Inhale, rise all the way up, hands sweep up overhead. Exhale, swan dive down, nice and slow. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Hands frame the feet, step the feet back into a plank. This time we'll lower down halfway for chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And on your next exhale, walk up to the front of your space, coming into that forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Big bend in the knees as we inhale and rise all the way up. Hands sweep up overhead. We'll interlace the fingers, releasing the pointer finger, and then relax the shoulders from the ears. Keeping your core engaged here and pressing down through the outside edge of the left foot. We'll reach over to the right. Hips reaching for the left. Nice side body stretch here. Gaze can be straight ahead or up towards the ceiling. Two more breaths here. Palms are married together, shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Inhale up to center. Exhale to the other side, reaching the hands to the left, hips to the right, shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Deep inhale, filling up that space in the rib cage. Exhale, use your core, squeeze the stale air out. Inhale back up to center. And as we exhale, we'll release the hands, cactus the arms, a slight back bend here, opening our heart, keeping the glutes engaged. Inhale your arms up overhead. And then exhale, hands come down through heart center, into a forward fold. You're going to warm up the hamstrings a little more here. So take the feet to about as wide as your shoulders. And then in this forward fold, I want you to bend your knees and bring your chest to connect to your thighs. Once you're there, start to inch your fingertips forward, walking them forward as you drop the hips back. Weight comes into the heels and into the hips. And then you just inch the fingers forward, letting the head hang heavy. You'll start to feel that stretch in the middle of the hamstrings there. If you're not feeling it, keep that chest to thigh connection and then start to press the hips up towards the sky, working to straighten the legs. They don't need to be straight, we're just working towards it. It's a practice. But keep the chest connected to the thighs to protect your lower back. Slowly start to bring your fingertips back towards your feet. As we inhale, we'll ragdoll up one vertebrae at a time. Head is the last thing to come up. And we'll toe heel the feet apart to about the width of the mat. I want the outside edges of the feet to be parallel. We're moving into a founder here. Hinge the hips back. So we start by hinging the hips back. That bends the knees a little bit, but not out past the ankles. So the knees have a slight bend in them. We're going to bring the hands to the height of the heart, creating a sphere with our hands, squeezing your fingertips together, pulling the wrists apart, squeezing the elbows closer, and then pulling the shoulder blades apart. Reaching the fingertips forward as we dip the hips back. The hips are going back, the arms are reaching forward. So we inhale the arms up above the line of the forehead. Nice strong core through the middle here, flat back. Hamstrings are doing all the work here. They're carrying the weight in the glutes and in the hamstrings. Quads are on, but they're not carrying the weight. Two more breaths here. Lower the hands down to the height of the heart. Exhale, take them out wide into wings. Bring the hands into those measuring sticks, pinky to the bottom hip, thumb to the bottom rib. And then we're going to press our hips forward for a count of 5 as we get taller. We're squeezing the glutes, pressing everything forward. So we're upstanding. Perfect. Bring your feet back in. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, swan dive down, nice and slow. Coming into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Hands frame the feet, step the feet back into a plank. Run through a vinyasa here, lowering down halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. From here, we'll raise that right leg up towards the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, step it through between the hands for crescent lunge. You're going to keep that left foot where it is and then slowly, under control, inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, relaxes the shoulders away from the ears. Now, we have two options with this back leg. You can press the heel, turns on the posterior muscle chain, or bring that ankle over the toes. You're going to stretch into the quad, the front of the leg here. This right knee never creeps out past the ankle. It's always behind it or directly above it. Coming into warrior two, let's drop this left heel down, opening up the hips. Find your warrior here. You might need to surf it out for a minute, still early in the morning. Pressing down through the outside edge of that left foot. Hips are open. We're pushing this right knee open so that if we were to look down, we'd be able to see our big toe. Hips, shoulders, add the arms to the party. Let's rotate our palms up towards the sky. And then just rotate the forearms back down. Gaze can be out over your right fingers or straight ahead if that's more comfortable on your neck. Nice solid warrior two here. Cartwheel the hands down to the floor. Sweep that right leg back. Run through your vinyasa, lowering down halfway chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, step it through, crescent lunge. Slowly, under control. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, relaxes the shoulders from the ears. Now try to do the same thing on the right side, either pressing into that heel or bringing the ankle over the toes. Nice strong core here. Deep inhale, fill up that space. Coming into warrior two, dropping that right heel down. Find your warrior base here. Pressing down through the outside edge of that right foot. Opening up the left knee. Hips are directly beneath the shoulders. Adding the arms. Rotate those palms up towards the sky. Rotate just the forearms back down. Sinking into that warrior two without letting this left knee come past the ankle or fall in. We want to open it up. Cartwheel your hands down to the floor. Sweep that left leg back. We'll run through a vinyasa here, lowering down. Halfway chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale that right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, right knee, right elbow. Inhale it up. Exhale, right knee to nose. Arching that spine. And then inhale it up. Exhale, right knee, left elbow. Inhale it up. And then exhale, step it through for warrior two. So that left heel comes down, bringing the arms up overhead. We're pressing down through the outside edge of that left foot in our warrior two, right? That turns on the arch and turns on this left glute to protect us for our next pose, which is reverse warrior. So bring that left hand to the top left glute. Make sure it's turned on. And then inhale the right arm up towards the sky. On your exhale, relax those shoulders away from the ears, sinking into that lunge. Cartwheel your hands down to the floor. Sweep that right leg back. Run through a vinyasa, lowering down. Halfway chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale that left leg up towards the sky. Left knee, left elbow. Inhale it up. Exhale, left knee to nose. Inhale it up. Exhale, left knee, right elbow. Inhale it up. And then exhale, step it through. Warrior two. Right heel comes down. Arms come up overhead. Finding our warrior two. Focus is on the outside edge of that right foot this time, turning on this right glute. Let's bring the right hand there. Make sure that muscle is turned on as we prepare for reverse warrior. Inhale that left arm up towards the sky. Exhale, relax the shoulders from the ears, sink into that lunge. This is a side stretch, not a back bend. Cartwheel your hands down to the floor. Sweep that left leg back, run through a vinyasa, lowering down halfway chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. That's a move. Inhale that right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, step it through, warrior two. Coming into reverse warrior, inhaling the arm up overhead. Exhale, relaxes the shoulders away from the ears. Extended side angle. The right elbow comes to the right knee. Sweep that left arm through, spiraling the chest open here. Exaggerating that peak underneath the left armpit. Reaching with the left hand as we press down through the outside edge of that left foot. Nice long straight line of power from fingertips to the outside edge of that left foot. Little to no weight in this right arm. Left hand comes down to the floor. Sweep that right leg back. Run through your vinyasa, lowering down halfway chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale that right leg up towards the sky. Oh, sorry, we're on the left side this time. Inhale the left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, step it through. Warrior two. Checking that base here, heel to heel or heel to arch alignment with the feet. Attention is being paid to the outside edge of that right foot. It turns on his right glute as we inhale the left arm up towards the sky. Reverse warrior. Extended side angle. Left elbow comes to the left knee. Reach that right arm through for the wall in front of you, spiraling the chest open. Reaching, reaching, reaching with the right hand, pressing down through the outside edge of that right foot. Nice long line of power there. Right hand sweeps down to the floor. Step that left leg back. Down through your vinyasa, lowering down halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here in our downward facing dog. And as we exhale, we'll slowly walk the hands back towards the feet this time. Coming into that forward fold. Now, toe heel your feet apart to about the width of your shoulders, maybe a little bit more narrow. There's about 2 fists at least between your feet. And then we're going to ragdoll up 1 vertebrae at a time. Head is the last thing to come up. We'll inhale the arms up overhead, coming into chair pose. We're going to sink the hips first. So the hips take the weight. We sink the hips back and down, coming into our chair pose. Now with the legs apart, we can't squeeze the knees together. So I want you to imagine you're ripping your mat apart with your feet in chair pose. So your feet are active here and they're pulling your mat apart. As you sink the hips back, the weight goes into the heels, into the glutes. You might be able to raise your toes up off the floor. Relax those shoulders away from the ears. Legs are still actively ripping the mat apart. Sink an inch lower. Hands come down through heart center. You come into a forward fold. If you're near the back of your mat, walk your hands towards the front, coming in to a downward facing dog. Inhale that right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, step it through for warrior 1. So the foot comes between the hands and then that left ankle comes down, but we're not on a balance beam here. We're on railroad tracks, so there's some separation between our heels. And then we'll slowly inhale the arms up overhead. We're working to square up the hips here, so I exaggerated with the shoulders there, but we want the left hip and the right hip to be as square as we can get them. It takes practice. Arms come up overhead. A little bit of a fun transition here. We're going to launch right into warrior 3 or airplane. So I like to step that right foot in just a little bit, bringing it kind of in the middle of my mat. And then I'm going to launch into warrior 3. My kitchen kind of prevents me from getting into that pose. But you can have the arms out in front of you or back into airplane wings or keeping your hands at heart center. Yogi's choice here. I'm going to fly my wings this morning. We're going to transition from here into standing splits. So lower the hands down to the mat. Squaring up your hips here is the most important part. So mine tend to dip down. Bring those hips up, squaring them up. And then you work on raising the leg. As you bring the chest closer to the thigh, forehead closer to the shin for standing splits. Or you can keep both hands on the floor. Two more breaths here. Now our exit strategy for standing splits is to land in crescent lunge. So I want you to slowly start to reach that left leg back to the mat behind you. Bring that right foot between the hands, and then slowly, under control, inhale the arms up overhead. Crescent lunge. Exhale into warrior 2. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Left hand comes down to the floor. Sweep that right leg back. Run through one last vinyasa here, lowering down halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Try this on the other side. Inhale that left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, step it through for warrior one. Right heel comes down. Remember, we're on railroad tracks here with the feet, not on a balance beam. And then inhale the arms up overhead. We're squaring up the hips as best we can here. Mine's a little not great today on this side. Arms come up. Relax those shoulders away from the ears. From here, we're going to launch into warrior three. Bring that left foot into the middle of your space. As you press the weight into the left leg, raise the right leg up off the floor. Good. Reach those arms out in front of you. Fly your wings. Or bring your hands to heart center. Coming into standing splits, we'll start to lower the hands down to the floor. It's okay to bring that foot down and rebalance yourself. Bring the hips square here. So see how my right hip starts to dip down. Raise that up so the hips are square. And then start to raise the right leg up towards the sky as you lower the torso towards the thigh, forehead towards the shin. You can bring that left hand behind your calf, pull yourself closer, or just concentrate with both hands on the floor on pressing that heel into the wall behind you, maybe up towards the ceiling. Our exit strategy here is crescent lunge again, so we're going to slowly start to reach that right leg back to the floor behind us. When it lands, we'll bring the left foot between the hands, and then slowly inhale the arms up overhead. Crescent lunge. Coming into warrior two, dropping that right heel down. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle, left elbow to the left knee. Reach that right arm through. Now we're going to bring the right arm down and come into a wide-legged fold. So turn that left heel in. Outside edges of the feet are parallel. And we're going to just do 5 little halfway ups here. Nice stretch for the hamstring. The knees are slightly bent. The glutes are going back. We'll inhale up. Just halfway up to your fingertips, or maybe up a little further, hands to the knees. I usually just come up to my fingertips and down to my palms. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Inhaling up. 2 more of these. Exhale, lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale, lower down. Last one. Inhaling up. Exhale, slowly lower back down. Now we'll come out of this nice and easy. So hands come towards the shins, and we'll slowly start to come up halfway. Hands come to hips, and then start to press the hips forward as you raise the torso up. Awesome. Step the feet in. Feet are as wide as your mat. Heels on the mat, toes out. We're going to do 5 yogi squats. The last one will come all the way down to the floor without using our hands. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, knees track out over toes. Glutes sink down. Inhale up. Exhale, lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Inhaling up. Exhale, lower down. Last one, inhaling up. All the way down to the floor, this time without the use of our hands. We did it. All right. Let's get upside down for a little bit. We'll just do bridge, and then we'll stretch everything out. So for bridge, bending the knees as you lay flat on your back, starting to bring your heels closer to your glutes, no closer than if you were to reach down, you'd be able to tickle the backs of your heels. If you have low back pain, step those out a little bit, help to decompress the spine. We'll press our hands into the earth as we start to press the hips up towards the sky. We're internally rotating the thighs, bringing the knees closer together. Glutes are turned on, hamstrings are turned on. That's what's pressing the hips up towards the sky, not the lower back. If you're feeling tension in the lower back, maybe step those feet out a little bit and really activate the glutes and hamstrings. Again, knees are not flaring open. If you look down and your knees are wider than your shoulders, really work on rotating those thighs closer together. You're inhaling your chest closer to your chin as opposed to tucking the chin down. Two more breaths here. Then we'll inhale up to our tippy toes. Exhale, lower down one vertebrae at a time. Take your feet out to the width of the mat. Let the knees fold in for fallen bridge. Just a quick little counter pose here. It allows the whole lower back to rest on the floor. And then we'll stretch the legs out long for wind removing pose. Bend that left knee into your chest. Interlace your fingers around your back and pull the knee back towards your armpit, avoiding the rib cage here. And then we'll roll that ankle clockwise and back counterclockwise. Inhale that left leg up towards the sky. As you exhale, slowly lower it down to the floor. When the left heel touches, bend the right leg into the chest. Interlace your fingers around the shin and pull that right knee back towards your armpit, avoiding the rib cage. We'll do a couple ankle circles here, clockwise, counterclockwise. Inhale that right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, slowly lower it down to the floor. When the right heel touches, bend both knees into the chest. Give yourself a little hug here, grabbing onto your wrists, your forearms, or your elbows. And maybe rocking back and forth. A quick massage of the spine. Release the legs and let the feet fall to the floor. Figure 4 stretch. We're going to take the left ankle, place it on top of the right knee. Left hand goes through that hole you just created, interlacing your fingers around your hamstring or around your shin, and pull that right knee back towards your armpit. Deep inhale into that left hip. Exhale, maybe press the thigh away with the elbow, getting a little extra juice out of that hip. Keeping the head on the floor, slight tuck of the chin here. We'll get some extra length out of the back of the neck. Two more breaths here. And we'll release the foot and slowly lower the right leg down to the floor. Cross the left leg completely over the right for shoelace pose. Bend the knees in towards the chest. Grabbing the tops of the feet, we'll pull the feet down towards the floor. If this is too much pressure on your knees, release the feet. Maybe just give yourself a little bear hug here. That'll get the stretch into the outer hips. This is what we're trying to stretch here, the outer hips and the glutes. So as you're pulling the feet down towards the floor, keeping the head on the floor, you should feel this stretch in the outer hips. Again, don't move into pain. If it's too much on the knees, just give yourself that bear hug. Two more breaths here. And then we'll release the feet, bend the knees in towards the chest. Lower the feet down to the floor, keeping the legs crossed here for our supine twist, or you can just stack the knees next to each other. We're going to scoot the hips to the left a couple inches, lower the knees down to the right as we reach the arm to the left. Deep inhale. Exhale, just relax into the twist. Let gravity do its job. Let something go here. Maybe unclench the jaw. Take the tongue off the roof of the mouth. Two more breaths here. Inhale your legs back up through center, uncross the legs, bend the knees in towards your chest for happy baby. Elbows to the insides of the knees, hands to the outsides of the feet. As we rock on our backs for happy baby, trying to stack the ankles over the knees. Bringing the whole spine onto the floor. And we'll release the feet down to the floor. Keeping the knees bent. Figure four stretch on this side. Right ankle comes to the top of the left knee. Take your right hand through the hole you just created, interlacing your fingers around the hamstring or around the shin. And then pull that left knee back towards your armpit. Deep inhale into the right hip. And then on your exhale, maybe press that right thigh away with the elbow, getting a little extra out of that hip. Keeping the head on the floor, slight tuck of the chin here. We'll get some extra length out of the back of the neck. Two more breaths here. When you're laying on your back, imagine you're filling up all that space, connecting your back to your mat. Lower the left leg down to the floor. Cross the right leg completely over the left for shoelace pose. You're going to bend the knees in towards the chest. Hands come to the tops of the feet as we start to pull the feet down to the floor. Again, if this is too much, good place to give yourself a little bear hug here, and you'll feel that in the outer hips. It feels kind of good. I'm going to stay here. But if you're pulling the feet down to the floor, don't move into any pain. We'll release the feet and slowly start to bend the knees in towards the chest. Lower the knees down to the floor, keeping the legs crossed or stacking the knees next to each other for supine twist. We're going to scoot the hips to the right and then lower the knees to the left, reaching the right arm long. Gaze goes to the right as we relax into the twist. Letting something go here again, unclenching the jaw, taking the tongue off the roof of the mouth. You have an idea floating around in your head, just let it go. Two more breaths here. Inhale your legs back up to center. Uncross the legs. Since I have twin babies, I do two happy babies at the end of every class. Bend your knees in towards your chest, elbows to the insides of the knees, hands to the outsides of the feet. We rock back and forth for our second happy baby. And then release the feet down to the floor. Stretching the legs out long as we prepare for our final Shavasana. Let the feet fall open as they may. Hands are away from the sides of the body, trying to bring all 10 fingernails onto the floor. Palms are facing up. Roll your shoulders up and then back down, creating a platform for the heart. Rock your head from side to side. Find a comfortable resting position for the head. And then just relax. Allow gravity to do its job. Enjoy your yoga nap. Give yourself an A for joining this morning or for clicking on this link and practicing with me. The most important part of yoga is showing up. If you are blessed with the gift of time, I hope that you use that to remain in your Shavasana as long as you can. Have a wonderful rest of your day. This is where I leave you. We'll see you on Monday. Take care.